Welcome back to the show. Like many of our guests, my next guest joined us during the pandemic when we were doing this virtually, and we were down to a half-hour show. So happy to have him back in studio. And our full-hour show here, personally, Wayne Ng, author of the brand new book called The Family Code. Welcome back, Wayne.
Thank you
Great
so
to
much,
have you here.
Great to be here.
Congratulations, first of all. But before we get to this specific book, tell us a little bit about your background as an author, Wayne.
Well, I came into this unintentionally. I've been a social worker for like 35 years. Writing is something I discovered late in life. My first book came out 5 years ago, and here I am. 5 years later, with my third book, my fourth one comes out next year. It's a sequel to the one with the Toronto Maple Leaf cover on it. Letters from Johnny, and my fifth one is in progress. So, yeah, like I say, it's never too late to find and follow a dream.
Do you write in different genres, or?
Well, my first book was historical fiction. Actually, Letters from Johnny was as well. This one is general fiction.
Okay.
I'm a bit all over the place. I'm still trying to find my voice. I write what I like to read, and I think I write what's probably interesting for a broader audience.
I think what's really fascinating about this book, Wayne, is that you did take inspiration from that career, as you just described, over 30 years as a social worker. Tell me about that, because you've dealt with thousands of people, families over the years, and did you take a little bit from many of them, or did you choose some specific ones?
There are certain families who center, the story, but really they're composite characters. They could be your neighbors, they could be your own family. Hannah's a dumpster fire of a mother and a son who's just all over the place, and they are who they are because of things that happened before them. But if you met them, you would think, that they behave very poorly because, they're in your face, they're prickly, they're confrontational. They're the last people you want to sit with on a long bus ride to Toronto, because, they're hurt people, and hurt people hurt people. And protective parents can be rageful, and scared people can be scary, and that's who they are. And you question Hannah because, her competency as a mother, the decisions she makes, her capacity to really care for her son, because she's already lost one child, and you think, my God, what's going on here? But as we get into the story, you're not going to like her. She's not really likable. For all the things that I said, the profanity coming out of her, the content warning is all there.
Is that a defense mechanism of some
Absolutely
kind?
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah, because of the hurt?
It's learned behavior, right? Like, you're not going to get to know me. I'm not going to get to know me. Myself either, so I'm just going to throw it all at you. I'm going to be in your face, and that's how she survives. So that's part of her defense mechanism.
And this, I guess, rubs off on her son Axel.
Well,
I imagine, right? Because our parents look to us, right, as the example.
Yeah,
right.
And there's things we pass on unintentionally, and I think with your daughter, you're very intentional. You're going to teach her, strong morals, values, how to behave, and then there's things we pass on unknowingly and unwittingly, right? How to deal with people, how to solve problems, how to release your emotions, healthy relationships. Some of the things we don't think about, it just comes out. So Axel learns to be this way as well, simply because he observes his mother, just through osmosis, and he's going to pass that on to his kid as well.
What do you think, or even hope, people will take from this book?
Well, to go back to one of your earlier guests, Jack Shore, who said, people need to do good. Yeah, because it's good for them, right? It makes you feel good, makes me feel good. These characters don't understand that. Until they get exposed to the goodness of being part of a community, of being there for other people, they're going to continue to center themselves in the world. Yeah, and we need to see that we're all part of something. And until, I'm not going to give away the ending, until people discover that, they just continue to live in isolation, and that's a hard way to live in this world.
You mentioned you're working on a sequel. Did you write this first book knowing that was coming, Wayne?
Well, the sequel is actually for the second story that I wrote, Letters from Johnny.
Okay.
But I have been asked about a sequel for this because there are some open-ended things there, and some of the early reviews have been great. They've been like, "It's over."
Really?
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing for an author to hear.
Yeah, tell me about the. So I mean, that's a great response. What other response have you received from this book so far?
Well, I've heard people say, that's my aunt you're talking about. I've heard other people say, I want to adopt that kid, or, you know, I've heard people say they've laughed, they've cried, they've been really moved by these characters and their stories. They're very familiar people. They're generic and composites, as I say. They could be anybody that we know.
Is this you know, sort of a multi-generational situation too, where Hannah has learned this behavior? I mean, do you delve into that at all? Where she's come from?
There are 4 generations here, but we
Okay.
focus primarily on Hannah and her child. But certainly we'll see patterns develop earlier where the grandfather, for example, struggled with trauma through the Second World War. And the way he survived was by shutting down.
Right.
Which he passed on to his son, which is Hannah's father, who gets through life by shutting down, being emotionally distant and not dealing with difficult things, which is what Hannah does.
Right.
She explodes. She doesn't deal with things. She hasn't learned to
It's
mature.
quiet, and then
Yeah,
suddenly it's
all she knows is nuclear. Yeah.
Wayne, really appreciate, before I let you go, I just want to let everyone know at home that you have a book signing coming up. So again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on
Yeah.
your latest book. The Family Code book signing, that is happening at Perfect Books, one of the best independent bookstores in the entire city. 258 Elgin Street. That's Saturday, June 17th from 1 to 3 p.m. And you can visit Wayne's website at wayneing.com to find out more information. We'll be right back.